video is to look at you at 14.5 kilometers an hour at 5% incline. And what I'm going to do is focus on the following things. Firstly is the crossover. Before we identified a crossover on the right side. We're then going to look at the arms. I'm also going to comment when I look at crossover on your foot placement as well. So we've got before on the left, and that's where we're going to begin. So we'll just slow that down. And we'll just get to the point where we were looking at the crossover. So as the right foot comes in before, and this is all linked with the arms, and I'll touch on those as well as we go through this point. So before, as we were coming into stance mode, so stance mode is when the weight is going full through that right leg, that foot's in contact, while the other one is going through the leg cycle. Before, we had the right foot crossing over three quarters of the trainer across that midline. The impact that would have is that it causes the body to fall out of alignment. It is something which is linked with overstride as well. So the two go hand in hand a lot of the time, and it is linked with a limited arm drive in addition to that. So it will affect the knee, it will affect the hip, it will affect that IT band, and also it will contribute to extra pressure being placed onto the Achilles. So you can see where the ankle of foot compensates more by the fact, and if I just take the line out, the angle of the foot as it was coming in. So the angle of the foot as it was coming in, it was starting to point out towards that corner of the treadmill. So when we had that foot coming across over that far side. Also, you can notice with your arms whereby you are bracing. So we're compensating for balance by having our arms out, which was an indicator that we had a limited arm drive, and we were basically not really utilizing the arms, and it was costing you more energy than when we were looking at getting that pendulum. So if we look at where we are after, firstly, just we're in that arm position. We can see the arms are close to the body now. So you can see that right elbow coming back. So we're working purposely. You can see the movement in that shoulder joint. There's an increase in shoulder posture as well. So the arms are close because you've improved your balance, which coincides with all the mat work that we have done, the single leg proprioception drills. Now, if we look at where you're landing on that right side, firstly, thing to notice is that foot is straighter. So ankle strength has improved from the single leg home A, B, back to home, and the working laterally as well is also linked in with the band work. So that's where it's all sort of come together. If we look at where we are with the crossover, so we bring that line down, you've now significantly reduced that. So what we've now got is probably, I'm going to say, a seventh of the trainer, just coming across a little bit. So you're now shifting that track. Something to keep working at is just bringing that foot, that small fraction across. But in terms of posturally, you're putting less stress now on that IT band, knee and hip as a consequence of adjusting that foot position. So that's a really, really good improvement on that midline. So just keep focusing on landing on that track. But as we can see from where we were before, so just to quickly have a look at that after, if we rewind it to where we were before, you can see that foot angle, which is going to cause the ankle to roll to over pronate. Whether now, if we play that again into that position, we've got that small portion of that trainer. So it's a really good improvement on that crossover. If we now take it through to the arms, we'll just play it through from here. So we can see before, if we look, very much coming, the movement is coming from the elbows. The elbows are flopping out a little bit. We've got the palm facing down and away, which switches off our bicep. We've got a big gap between the rib cage and the elbow, which is that compensating for balance. Now, if we look after, this is a real strong position where we've basically got no marks on that top. So that's showing good shoulder posture. Now when those arms work, we've now got the wrist facing the hip, elbow coming back towards us. So that's propelling you forward. That backward motion is going to be really, really working in terms of rhythm for the leg cycle. And if we look at the right, again, you've got that palm now facing towards you. So your biceps switched on to help stay at the same length isometrically, propel those arms forwards. They're working as a pendulum, forwards and back, and you're working nicely up to shoulder level. And there is no twist in that lower back. It is very much that torso is facing forward. So it's a really good improvement now in terms of getting that arm drive. That, as a consequence, as I mentioned from the side, has improved your running posture. So rather than compensating for the balance, you're now nicely running tall and upright, which means your glutes and your hamstrings are switched on and being used to propel you forward. It's really impressive before and after, because now we've got balance in what the body is doing. So really good work, Andy. Any questions, please do not hesitate to get in touch.